So hi, welcome. My name is Janice Goodenough. Can I get the slides? Yes, there we are. So hi, my name is Janice Goodenough, and I'll be talking to you today about hydropower's green battery for Europe and for the world. So a few key facts about HYDROGRID up front. We are a post-Series A scale-up, about 40 employees. Our clients are municipalities, hydropower producers, hydropower owners across the world. We now have clients in 13 countries across 3 continents, and we are on track to save 50 million tons of CO2 until 2030. So I'm going to be talking to you today about the storage problem. I think it's clear at this point, right, that the energy transition is not so much a problem of how much renewable energy can we produce, but rather a problem of how do we make that renewable energy accessible when it is needed to the consumers and to the grid. And there are currently actually only 4 technologies that can provide that storage capability. We have the good old hydropower, which provides for long-term energy duration storage. So by long-term, I mean anything beyond just a couple of hours. We have battery technologies where there's been massive advancement in the technology over the last few years, but which still provide only storage for a duration of hours. So we're talking 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 hours. We're not anywhere close to being able to store from day to night or even seasonal. So clearly batteries cannot kind of solve the entire problem. We have demand response, meaning adjusting demand to the available electricity. This is also very limited in scope because just the number of applications where we feasibly can shift demand to when the wind is blowing or when the sun is shining is very, very limited. And then, of course, there are some new technologies in early stage of development, pressure batteries, solid-state batteries. I would love for these to come on board, but I'm not going to hold my breath, and I think we need to look for solutions that are possible with the technologies that we have today. So everybody's been talking about batteries a whole lot for good reasons. Batteries have been growing steadily on the technological side, and there's also a huge amount of battery build-out that is projected over the next decade. So you see in terms of capacity, growth projections vary, but depending on who you ask, you get between a 10x and 50x increase of battery capacity until the year 2035. But this paints only half of the picture because actually, even after all that growth in batteries, hydropower will still trump battery capacity, by which I mean megawatt, by a significant margin, even past the year 2035. And this actually is also only part of the truth, because when we look at volume, meaning megawatt hours of storage volume, the picture looks like this. So after all that build-out of battery over the next 15 years, this is the amount of storage volume that we're going to get from batteries until the year 2035. And this is the amount of storage volume that we get from hydro storage today and with a marginal build-out until 2035. So this shows that while battery build-out is a fantastic thing, right, an energy transition is not possible without hydropower. And there's an even bigger and more important picture here, which is that the bar you see here is only pump storage hydro, which is built and most of which obviously is utilized as a grid-scale storage for the grid. But there's actually a massive amount of hydropower storage potential, which is currently physically available, but is not being used due to lack of digitalization or restrictive regulation. So by our estimates, about 4,000 gigawatt hours of hydro storage capacity are available today, sitting there, meaning hydropower plants with physical storage capacity with a reservoir lake, but they're not being used actively to provide flexibility to the grid, simply because the hydro operator doesn't have the, let's say, operational capacity to do that. And this is the potential that HYDROGRID unlocks. So with our software, we make these 4,000 gigawatt hours of hydro storage capacity, which again is more than all the build out of batteries over the next decade, accessible and usable to the grid. So I'm going to show you how we do that. So first of all, what does HYDROGRID do? We offer a real-time software which collects data from hydropower plants, combines them with weather data and power market data, and intelligently steers hydropower plants in real time based on those factors. So by using HYDROGRID, hydro operators can turn their hydropower plants into smart power plants that are steered intelligently in real time, based on demand from the grid and based on power market signals. Our software is fully data-driven, meaning all the models learn continuously and recalibrate based on the data, and it's fully automated, allowing hydro operators to fully digitalize their process from water to money. The software is proven across a wide range of use cases. So in terms of the type of hydropower plants, we offer solutions for everything from the most simple, tiny run-of-river power plants, of which there are tens of thousands across the world, to the most complex storage cascades, meaning multiple connected hydrological power plants across all climate conditions. So as mentioned, we have clients in 13 countries across 3 continents and also across a wide range of energy market contexts. So some of our clients are in highly liberalized power markets as we have in Europe, and some of them, for instance, are in completely non-liberalized power markets such as Brazil, using the water management and kind of flexibilization capabilities of HYDROGRID. So how do we unlock that green battery? I want to show you a case study from one of our clients in the Nordics, who is a medium-sized municipality and who is the typical application case where, without HYDROGRID as a software, they were not able to use their flexible asset, which actually was always flexible, but they weren't able to practically use it. So what you can see here on the right-hand side is a small sketch of this topology. As you can see, it's 4 connected storages. Some of them are quite small, with only about 4 hours of storage capacity, and the ones at the top are quite large. So these are a 6-month storage, which is awesome and amazing flexibility for the grid, but that is exactly the problem. But due to these size differences, managing this is extremely complex, because if the weather changes quickly, right, if it rains a lot here in the middle, you have to immediately adjust your generation plan. And if you're not able to do that in a 24/7 kind of way, what that means is that effectively you're not able to use this entire beautiful Ferrari of a battery, so to speak, to provide flexibility to the grid. And for that reason, historically, this operator was just operating this plant here as if it was unflexible. So what you see here is what used to happen. So this is 2019, when this operator was not yet implementing HYDROGRID. This power plant was just running effectively baseload. And that's a huge waste of opportunity, because this is a 4.5 megawatt power plant, which in the hydro world is small, but in terms of battery volume equivalent, that's actually quite a lot. That's a lot of kind of garage-size storages that you have there. So this is what was happening. And that has 2 negative impacts. First of all, for the grid, this power plant is not providing flexibility to the grid, not contributing to the renewables transition. And also for the operator himself, he's massively losing out on revenues, because he's not selling his power when the price is high. So he's losing out on 10, 15, even 50% of his revenues. What you see on the right-hand side is the after picture. So this is from 2025. What you can see now, and the top line here, is the power generation in the plant. The pink line, which probably is a bit too faint for you to see, is the power market price, which of course is a signal for demand within the grid. So what you can see now is that this power plant is flexibly dispatching based on the power market signals and based on the demand from the grid, while keeping the reservoirs all in check. This is happening fully automatically using HYDROGRID Insight, meaning there is 0 operational effort for the operator. In fact, the operational effort went down. They used to have people on shift 24/7, making sure that nothing was kind of going off. Now those operators sleep through the night. So the positive impact for the grid here is that 4.5 megawatt of storage capacity have been made available to the grid, which is equivalent, just to keep that in perspective, to 20,000 Tesla Powerwalls. The nice impact for the owner is that, as a minor positive side effect, we have also increased his revenue by 50%, 50. So compared to the market average, he's now outperforming the market by 50%. If any of you want to see this in more detail, please come by our booth, because I can show you the exact reports showing this exact case, because many people say 50%, that doesn't sound believable, but it's possible. So again, to put all this into perspective, that storage volume that is sitting around unused in hydropower, about 4,000 gigawatt hours, that corresponds to about 300 million Tesla Powerwalls, which can be activated without any CapEx cost, only through the power of digitalization by using an intelligent software like HYDROGRID. So obviously, we would love to do that. So if you know anybody who has hydropower plants or is looking to invest in hydropower plants and wants to fully digitalize their operation, please get in touch. You can find us at the booth right next to the coffee machine. And that is right on time. Thank you.